Hello, everyone. So today we are here back with another episode, and this time we're talking about this very important topic about resumes. And to help us out with resumes is Mr. Binoy K. He has got over 2 decades of experience with one of the leading IT services company of the country. He is into campus hiring right from the junior level, entry level to the managerial level. He sees a lot of candidates day in and day out, and he's going to share his expertise with us. He's the campus recruitment manager over there. So Binoy, I'm so glad that you're there with us. And today we will discuss about resumes. Now, my first question, Binoy, to you is basically for a fresher, how should the resume, the length, and what are the important aspects of a resume that should be present in order to make a very good impression and to clear the interviews?
The resume actually plays a very important role. That's the first point that we need to consider actually. Now, that is the only medium to which you are bringing in a familiarity between two strange people. When I say strange people, to put it in a more simpler format, the interviewer and recruiter, the interviewer and the individual who's coming to get interviewed, the candidate, the both of them don't know each other. The only way they can get to know each other is through the resume format. Okay, but then how do we actually look at it? Formats which I will explain to you as the process goes on, but I want to explain to you at this moment what exactly a fresher resume should contain and nothing beyond that. It's very, very simple. At the beginning, it will absolutely have the candidate's name, and then you need to have the candidate's email ID and the phone number at one corner. That is enough. And then afterwards, the candidate needs to mention skills. Now, here is where the questions comes in, but I'll go step by step and then I'll again come in detail about it. First, you need to mention the education qualification after that. Then afterwards, what are the projects done? And then if you have done internship, then you mention your internship. It has to happen in that series order. And afterwards, personal accomplishments, and then you write your interests. This is how the resume should be there. That's it. You don't need anything beyond this. And the format and the structure and the way you want to design it can all happen in any way, in any style. There's no specific. But if you have these contents mentioned, that is more than sufficient. And again, I always go specific to telling you that the candidate needs to understand which kind of a company the candidate is attempting for, or the industry, or the kind of a job role. So it is very specific. The candidate needs to understand from the placement office what is the job description all about and what is expected. So there are two types. Whenever in a campus, always you have two companies coming in, two types of companies. One is a company which is into mass hiring or volume hiring. Another company which is coming into hiring specified skills or people with a specific caliber, and you don't have a large number of people that they hire. The resumes actually differ for both of them because the recruiter who's interviewing people for their volume skills is actually going to be looking at you as a person. That's it. The resume doesn't come so much of an importance at that moment. What do they look at that resume? So volume recruiter. When it's a volume interview happening, okay, so what they look at it specifically is that the main intention for them is you have cleared their online test. That's itself answered their question. And the other discussion which they're going to have is a mere discussion which is just going to understand you more in person. And then it is your soft skills that is more specific there. That's it. So for that, the resume just needs to be as simple as possible, nothing more in detail as such, yes, but then you need to actually specify what you've done as an engineer, because that is what is going to determine some of the questions which they might ask. But when it comes to a question of when you're meeting, when you're a candidate and you're meeting a company which is interviewing people for specific to product, or when they're interviewing people for a specific skill, and the number of hires is very, very specific, then you need to actually be careful about the way the resume should contain. The resume should be very detailed. It should have the required information that is possible. And the person who's interviewing you would always appreciate a resume which is very detailed. So for that, the length of that resume should be different. And what it means is that it should always have a second page, is what I believe in. And what is that second page? Second page is where your project and a very detailed information about your project. And always remember, whenever you write for your details of a project, you've got to actually mention who your mentor for the project was, what is the idea behind that project, and how did the project start, the number of people that work for that project, and then you need to write the entire details of the project, much more scientific information about the project, and what was the final outcome of the project, and what did you do specifically. And that's why it needs to have a very detailed information about it. And then you need to increase, and then if you have personal accomplishments are very important for these kind of interviews, which is specific to product or companies which are looking at very specified skill. You need to write a personal accomplishments, which could be somewhere you did a kind of project which was patented, or somewhere you worked with your professor for one of their theses, and then all those information that if you put, it's going to add an information to the recruiter because that is what interests them. Because that's why I say 70% is your information in the resume that is more important, and 30% is your presentation. Because the information in the resume is what brings in the conversation between you and the recruiter, or when I say the candidate and the recruiter. And this is how we need to actually base it. When I go to, when I have to talk about what are the do's and don'ts specifically with recruitment, in recruitment as well as in resume management. Let's talk about specific to resume as we are talking about resumes at this moment. The rules are you need to ensure that you write exactly what your abilities are, what you are. So never copy a resume. Because if there's somebody who's made a certain format is all okay. But ensure that the details and the points that you mentioned should not be the same as what somebody else has written. It should be exactly what you have done. If you have not done anything, there's no point mentioning those to get an opportunity. That is where the question of integrity comes. Because the interview is a test of all that. They're going to be testing a candidate's integrity skills. They're going to be testing a candidate's personal abilities. Because what they need is that they need to see that this is the candidate who's coming with a certain amount of skills is what we are going to be hiring into our organization. There's a whole lot of information about you that is spoken in the resume. That's why resume plays a very important role. And it's so important the candidate needs to specifically check what is the job profile, and based on the job profile, they need to ensure that they have a resume which is so detailed. But it's detailed only if the candidate has done that. If you have not done anything, please don't mention anything extra because that's not right. Because it's a question of integrity. There's a lot of tests that happens in the resume and the interview. Through the resume, the interview process goes.
Binoy, I just want to ask with you. Usually for a fresher, it is recommended that it should be a one-page resume, but here you are telling let it be a two-page. So it's a little confusing because usually, that's what said, have a one-page resume. And so how does the two-page actually work? I mean, is it okay to have a
Okay. Yeah. So when I say one-page resume, if your one-page resume fits in very, very clearly for somebody who's actually applying for a volume-based company. Okay. And they're coming, they don't have enough time. The interview process is only for a 15-minute period, and beyond that, it doesn't go. If it does go, it's only for a few candidates generally. But again, it's not because of the resume that happens there. But then that's how you need to do it. That's why I said checking on what's the job description and taking the kind of company and the expectation of the company is important. But if you're applying for a company which is a product-based company or a company which is looking much more deeper, and it's got a very detailed job description where it is looking for somebody with a high-end skill or trying to put somebody into a role which requires some bit of high-end skill to be worked on, then you need to have a very detailed resume. And the resume, second page of the resume plays the most important role. The first page of the resume is more of an information which they generally would need, but that information they already have. The simple reason is because it's only based on those eligibilities you've applied. So they know that you need to have all those criteria before that. Okay. But the second page is what plays an important role because second page is what they want to know. What is the project that you did? How detailed have you explained? You need to explain that more in detail because the explanation given in the format of the resume is what is important for them. And they need to have more clarity. If you ask me, how do I raise that detail? The detail should be very clear. That is the project mentor, the reason why you went to take up that project, what is the final outcome of that particular project, how did you go about doing that project, what was your challenges, or what was your accomplishments in the process of the thing, and what was your specific role in that project, and what did you do specifically. So this explanation does need to go to the second page. And then personal accomplishments. And personal accomplishments could be the internship that you did, or it could be some of the work that you did alongside with your professor, which is an additional kind of work that you did, where somewhere there is a kind of learning that you did. Sometimes a lot of candidates have a lot of information to share based on their technical abilities. And that's why the second page plays a very important role, specific to companies which are looking at high-end skills, specific to companies which are product kind of companies that comes in. That's why I say.
Yeah, thanks for this clarity, Binoy. One more thing that I want to ask is, which is a little confusing for students, is one is whether they should be putting their photograph or not, Another thing is, the career objective part, which is, a little tricky. So is it required? And if it is required, how should they go about it? And again, one thing that students sometimes put is languages known and references. So are these important parts of a resume, or some of which they can do away with?
So most of these things you need to do away with. You don't need to actually have a photograph there. That is not needed at all, because anyway they're having a personal discussion with you. They're able to see you, and per photograph is anyway not needed, even if it is a discussion over phone. That is very important for people to know. So they ensure that you take that off, not to have the photograph there. An important point, there's no need for you to mention what your languages that you know and what you know. That can probably be part of a simple conversation that happens, because resume is more to check on who you are as a candidate subject to the organization's expectation. That's what it is all about. You don't need to specifically write your personal interests also there. You don't need to write about any of the specific hobbies that you actually have. But again, if you want to explain your interest, and if you have something which is unique, which is for example, if somebody is a marathon runner, somebody who's into fitness, and that level of fitness has gone to the level where he or she is part of a YouTube where the person goes into that and shows some fitness skills, something of that sort which is unique and different, you should really mention that. But you cannot just mention something just like that stamp collection, coin collection. This is a normal kind of a thing which has got nothing more elaborate than. But if you have something of your personal interest which is more elaborate, please do mention that. But language is known, photograph, that's all those specifics are not needed. It's only resume is more to be with how more scientific and more specific you are to the particular subject as what you want to apply for.
And career objective, Binoy?
Career objective is always confusing, and there's no need to specifically mention that, because that's your personal interest that you have. But you can actually mention that technical interest or technical, technological interest, something of that sort, where you can specifically mention that I'm doing a course in Java or something more to do in this particular area. But you don't need to say that career objective is this, because that's not necessary, because the personal interest towards a technology is different from a career objective. Because the career objective is something which is your very personal thing. But if you want to mention that what you are doing or what is towards a particular technology, just for somebody to know about it is more than sufficient. But you don't need to actually explain to them, this is what I want to be doing, or this is what is my aim, because that's not necessary for the interviewer too. That's just an extra information.
And Binoy, just want to check with you, anything that the student should add, which will actually add value to the resume, something which you should definitely do, or something which makes it stand out. So is there anything that a student can actually do to make the resume stand out?
Yeah, so this is a very important point. So for anything that will stand out, that particular, it is left up to the individual. That is where I say resume is all about who you are that has been presented there. If you have somebody who's done something which is very unique, and somebody who has got an additional skills than what a normal or an average student would generally have, you need to specifically mention that. But you are not in any of those specifics. Just for somebody thinking that an interview will get attracted to it is wrong, because that is when you get stuck. And that is when you are getting into a wrong situation. What you need to do is that if you're not in any of that, it's more than enough. You just need to absolutely mention certain things in specific in that particular order and just leave it at that. For example, that is, as I mentioned earlier in the beginning, you need to mention your skills, what you are, what are your personal competencies or your personal abilities, which you just need to mention in all those points there. And then your education qualification, then after your project or internship, and then your personal accomplishments or interests, if you have that. If you don't have any specific interests, don't mention them. If you don't have any personal accomplishments, don't mention them. But then mention only those what you have actually done. So this is where is a test for every candidate. That is, if you have not done anything much, resume actually shows that. If you have done enough, it is shown in your resume. So just make your resume as that. The interviewer will be very, very happy to interview. Because what is the resume actually conveying? The resume is conveying you as a person. And resume has a lot of information, because when the interview is coming to hire, the interview is looking at a lot of things. One, yes, they look at your soft skills aspect. They are looking at your social skills aspect. At the same time, they're also going to be looking at how much of integrity values do you carry. That's very, very important, because that's essential for an organization. If you're actually not mentioning certain things in the resume, which is not what you've done, is where the problem comes in. And that's not fair. And again, the don't is what I want to specify here. Never ever copy skills or details of accomplishments which somebody else has written, because it's somebody else's effort and hard work that's already come in. If you have not done any of that, is all right, but just mention what you have done. How you'll be able to compare yourself as what have you accomplished so far. But whenever you mention something which is not specific to what you've done, that is when you actually find the interview very difficult, because the interviewer is going to ask you questions based on that. And remember, whatever is mentioned in your resume, as I said, 70% your resume that talks, is your questions are going to be based on that. And if you don't have anything enough written in your resume, obviously the interviewer is going to ask their own questions for sure. But then you need to actually ask yourself, yes, that situation I have created for that to happen.
Yes.
Right? That's how it is.
Well, that's a very important point, Binoy, you have shared. And I want to ask you something towards the end. Now with the online resumes, because now the interviews are mostly going to be happen online. So even the resumes are going to be online. So is there anything that they need to keep in mind with the online resume? Because you could be sharing your links and all that. So for whatever achievements or your blog or things like that. So is there any change in the resume format or because of it being online? So if you could just share a few things about this.
No, there's nothing. Whether it's online or whether it's direct, the resume format has remained same. They need to go in that particular order itself, and nothing to be changed in that, because you are actually presenting yourself through the resume. And when it's online, you're going to have the recruiter eventually going to read your resume more in detail to ensure that you are absolutely clear about what you're writing there. Even if you, and for most of the time, people feel that if they actually put a very colorful resume by writing a lot of things there, the recruiter is going to be impressed. No, the recruiter will be impressed with your honesty. So just write what you are is more than sufficient, and the resume and the recruiter will be able to connect you from there on. That's what I want to say. The last.
So thank you very much, Binoy. Thank you for sharing this with all of us. And I hope this makes it a little bit more clearer for all the viewers how a resume should be. And here's wishing you all the very best, and bye from us.